Hi friends, it's Joe from DadBod. Welcome to day one of the program. Today it is around 6:06 a.m. in Tokyo and it's around 66 degrees and nice and clear. We're gonna go for a 1 mile walk. This is our long walk to start the program. I have a whole bunch of tips and tricks I'm gonna share with you during this day, but let's get going. So let me pop you on my head 1 second. Go for a ride, y'all. All right. So for some of you, this is your first time stepping into a long distance program like this. It may be intimidating. We're gonna click start on our workout.
Begin workout.
Oh, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna take us through my favorite area. We're gonna end up doing this loop or this trail, I don't know, for 16 weeks. We'll probably run down here times 3. What's 16 times 3? 30, 40 something. But anyway, friends, today we're going to focus on empowerment and helping you understand that you are able to move over a stretch or a long distance. For many of you, this journey might seem kind of crazy, and in many ways it is, especially if you're coming from any kind of injuries, if you're heavier set like me, and if you don't have any experience with long distance running, or if you hate running but have decided to do this program anyway. There's something for everyone here, and there's a lot you're probably working through. So take this as an introduction to the program. The first 4 weeks is block 1. In block 1, we're not really running, except on Fridays. We do a little bit of run walk. But I want to kind of retrain how we approach functional movement so that everything you do is safe. I'll be quiet for a minute because the waterfall. Awesome. And speaking of safety, as you kind of learn how your body works in this program, some of you need stretching and active dynamic movement before running or walking. So there is a running stretch warm-up routine that should be linked to this workout. So feel free to check that out. And then you can do that before any of these sessions if you actually need it. No worries if not. Let's see. Now normally I should be out here like an hour and a half earlier. So I normally don't walk when there's other people around. So I'm trying to be sensitive when we go past people, not to be talking. Now I'm walking at a pretty brisk pace. It's okay if you walk a little slower, but I want you to get a feel for what 1 mile actually feels like. If you've never done it before, you should be able to walk a mile in about 15 to 20 minutes. And before we even start running, I'm gonna make a video that has a lot of guides on how to run and move safely. So that'll be coming. That'll be linked in here eventually. But one of the things we're gonna focus on over the next 4 weeks is building a lot of core and back strength so that we can get a healthier tilt in how we move. So a lot of times if we're heavier set with a lot of weight around our midsection, we kind of slouch. And then when you're slouching, that'll curl your arms forward. And again, this will make more sense in like a video I share. But you'll curl your arms forward, and then sometimes you'll end up kind of sitting back over your hips and landing with like a very hard heel strike. And then that is constantly stealing your momentum. So there's actually a running technique called chi running that I like, where it's all about finding like a nice healthy tilt forward so that gravity's working on your midsection and pulling your body forward, and you're just kind of like constantly catching yourself as you fall. But you can do it at a very slow pace, so it's sustainable. And I'm going to teach you how to do that so that running is less damaging on your body, if that makes sense. Everything we're going to do, we're going to try to do safe. And everything we do, I need you to modify as needed. But this is the foundation. So if we look at the overall program and how it's laid out, we're gonna get out on our bodies 3 days a week. Mondays, which I like to start with the hardest thing, are always going to be our long run or our long walk. And that's where we're going to try to stretch distance a little bit more each day. And then Wednesdays, oh, 1 second. Give this guy a break. Ohayou gozaimasu. It's Oji-san. His grandpa just cleaning up the trail. But then on Wednesdays, that's going to be our recovery run or walk. It's going to be a lighter distance, so eventually you can find a rhythm of being able to do it without it taking too much time. And then on Fridays, we're going to do either tempos or fartlicks. Mainly fartlicks, which is a funny word. Oh, I don't know what that guy's doing. That looks fun. Get in his water for the day. Oh, that's one of the more interesting things I've seen in Japan. Well, there's something for everyone. Right? So a fartlick is basically a special way to do endurance training for running, so that when you get to the long runs you can complete them or go farther. And it's going to be alternating 2 paces. So if you're like more of an elite runner, which we're probably not, which is okay, a fartlick, you would go between running a strong pace to an interval of running high intensity pace, and then you would alternate that at time intervals, like 3 minutes hard, 1 minute recovery, 3 minutes hard. And it's stretching your body and kind of allowing you to go farther and faster, because you're operating at a higher pace than when you're trying to run the distance, right? But when we start our first fartlick, which will be this Friday, which will be the first time you're actually running with me, we will be walking, and then we will be lightly jogging for a bit. And the reason we're starting so light is I'm assuming that all of you may run in a way that's actually damaging to your body. You may run impatiently, which we'll talk about more, where basically we all don't like running. Let's start with that assumption. We don't like to run. So if we don't like to run, so I realize we've been looking at the ground the whole time. If we don't like to run, we're gonna run impatiently and in a hurry. And this means that our form is gonna fall apart, which is gonna increase the impact and the pain on your joints. I love these waterfalls, but they loud. It's gonna increase the impact on your joints, and it's gonna decrease your ability to actually go as far as you need to go. So we're gonna focus on crock pot running, which is like low and slow, baby. Just nice and easy. We're not out here to impress anybody, and success is distance, not time. But I believe if we could have that mindset, every single person in this program can complete a half marathon within reason, right? There will be some of you that need to drop or modify just based on like health challenges and ability. But I think if you can stay disciplined and stay with the program, I think it's highly likely that you can actually do a half marathon, even if right now in your current mindset you don't think it's possible. But you're here because a friend pushed you, or you're part of our digital community and you're like, yeah, I'll give it a go. I think you're gonna find that resolve over time. So I'm gonna give you guys a distance check, because actually I don't know. We're probably around half a mile. Let's see. Maybe I'll give you a distance check. We're at 0.45. So the other thing I'm gonna teach you how to do, we're gonna use this app, what is it called? Running Pal or something like that. It's an Under Armour app. But we're gonna do line running. So, especially for long runs, this will be helpful. Rather than trying to create these perfect loops, like a 2-mile loop and a 3-mile loop and a 4-mile loop, we're gonna find a path. We're gonna run in a line, and when we get halfway, we're gonna turn back. And then the next week, we're gonna follow that same exact path and stretch it half a mile, which is about 1 kilometer. And then we're gonna work our way back. And then we're gonna stretch it farther. The reason this is helpful is because it really allows you to get a consistent rhythm on how your body feels 1 week to the next, where your strength lies, how well you're doing, and where you can push. And I think we're about to hit 0.5 miles. That's 9 minutes, 58 seconds. So we're running at we're walking at a 20-minute mile pace, which is totally fine. Also, if you're, you know, in Australia or UK or Europe and you're used to kilometers, that is totally cool. I'm getting used to the kilometer metric living in Japan, but I can't think pace in kilometers yet. I can only conceptualize like this is an 11, 15-minute mile pace. It's hard for me to convert and feel that in kilometers. Maybe I'll try to learn that during the program. So when I'm narrating our runs, it'll likely all be in miles unless we're hitting milestones like a 5K or a 10K or things like that. I have my app set to miles as well. So just be mindful of that. Kilometers are kind of cool because they're smaller. So if it helps you to reach quicker incremental milestones, by all means train using kilometers and kind of encourage yourself through that. Oh no, our path was blocked. Oh my goodness. All right, so train yourself through kilometers. The only problem with that is that even though you hit incremental milestones with the kilometers, you have to do more of them. I mean, it's the same distance, right? But it's just what works for you. Like, sometimes I like the half-mile milestone just because it allows me to be like, all right, I only have to run half a mile to get to blah. That's about 6 minutes. I can maintain this for 6 minutes. It's like a mindset thing for me. But do what works best for you, friends. But overall, I'm just hoping that this can be an encouraging journey for you, that you could do something you've never done before, that you can modify and do what's best for you and your body on the journey and not get hung up in comparison. And as your homework coming out of this, this is future Joe speaking. Well, I haven't made it to the future yet, but I did a half marathon 2 weeks ago around Mount Fuji. I'm assuming that it'll be edited and posted before this workout's posted. So hopefully there's a link in here. But I just invite you to like go and watch that video. And it will be unbearably long and difficult for you. I think I ran and then I run walked it near the end because I got destroyed by a hill that started taking souls and I just couldn't keep the pace I set. But it took me, I think, 2 hours and 52 minutes. But the point, there was about 10,000 people running this half marathon. It was amazing. It was around Lake Yamanakako, super like remote rural area, right at the base of Mount Fuji. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful day. Run still sucked the whole time because running sucks. Right? It's fun when it's done. 1 second, this is the loud one. Excuse me. But like 10,000 people ran this half marathon. As I got on the last 2 to 3 miles, right, like the last 30 minutes, by that point 95% of people were done. Right? Being in the lower 5th percentile is a hard place to be because what's happening is everyone's just leaving. Like, they're rolling up the race. It's over. And you're one of those lonely souls. You've lost the community. You have the momentum of the community the first couple miles. But then they start rolling up that race, right? And in those moments, it feels like it's just you enduring. You can get into the comparison about how much worse you are than anyone else. But that's not really the reality, and that's not what people see, but that's what we project onto ourselves. Because as I got on those last 2 miles, and as you watch that video, like, me running at 2 hours and 30 minutes when everyone else was done provided life to the people walking home. And you'll see it, like, people are just walking, heading home along the racetrack, and then they're immediately shocked that I'm still going, and that I haven't given up, and that I'm huge because I'm 6'3", 300 pounds. 1 second. They're shocked that I'm huge, 6'3", 300 pounds. Sorry, in Japan, like, things are very quiet, so when I walk past people, I try not to disturb them. Oh my God, does that guy just fill up water just to carry it up a hill? Like martial arts training? That looks terrible. Also, in the future, this will be a really cool space we hang out and rest. I do a lot of like prayer and reflection on our runs. So this is the rock. We're not gonna be there today though. We gotta finish up this mile. My kids are waking up. But yeah, on that last mile, like, the entire course awakened and cheered and was yelling, supporting me, but I felt like I was giving them something too. So it's really not about, oh my gosh, you're carrying so much water, bud. It's really not about being in that bottom 5%. That's the wrong mindset. It's really about people seeing that you're doing the best. You're doing the best you possibly can do for you, and that you're still going the same distance they went, even if they finished 20 minutes ago, an hour ago, an hour and a half ago. We're gonna work through the ego side of exercise, both in lifting and running safe. But when we can break through that ego of comparison, which causes us to rush progress, causes us to feel inadequately aesthetically compared to other people, causes us to be demotivated, to stop running because we're not as fast. Like, when we break through all that mindset, we start to realize that we can just take the next best step for ourselves. And then that's what's gonna bring us into health, vitality, safe range of motion, injury prevention, a sense of accomplishment and working towards a difficult goal over time. Like, that's the joy and elation I want you to feel over a while, is to be able to work towards something you've never done before without that comparison, without an ego that causes you to run artificially fast and then burn out, which did happen to me on my half marathon. There was a lot of energy the first 3 miles. I knew I was running too fast, and I kept going because it was fun. And then I hit a hill at mile 4, and that ego was shattered and I died. It was the worst thing ever. that brought me into the run walk zone, which is, the run walk is a fight. My preference is to be able to find a pace and hold it. It sucks, but it always sucks less than like stopping and starting. But if you hit a wall, you enter the stop start, which in some ways becomes more mental than anything, of like, are you willing to keep starting? Are you willing to stop for less time? So that's fun. These are all the rambles of Joe. You're gonna have a lot more of them. Maybe a little bit less of them when I'm running, because I'm actually focusing on breathing. But hopefully you're still with me. You've gone, I don't know, 0.75 miles. Look at that. Look how far you've gone. That's pretty neat. You're gonna go a lot farther, friends. It's just gonna take some time. 16 weeks. You're not gonna train for a half marathon in 4 weeks. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take some patience, some persistence, but it'll be good. Sumimasen. Hi. Oh, that's my favorite waterfall. It's a good one. So yeah, a lot of these people are actually waking up, starting their commute to work. It's Monday. I know my kids are waking up soon, so we're wrapping things up a little early. Missed my alarm, slept in. Life happens, but we're still here. It's messy, it's fun. see. Oh man, it is beautiful though. And if there's any way that you could do your runs pseudo close to where you live, but that are just a little bit farther away from traffic or a little bit more scenic, try to get a little bit of nature. It just helps with the mindset. We're going to do a little bit of mindset training during this program as well. But I always feel better after getting out and doing stuff like this. It's always good. And I didn't do any form check, but when you're walking, one of the things we're going to start to train up is tilting your tailbone, tucking your core, and maintaining good form even when you walk. This will be in the running training video that I'll make hopefully for you, but try not to slump through things, and that'll keep your body safe. And you might need to build those muscles before you can use those muscles, so that'll be coming as well. 1 second, let me check our distance. All right, we're at 0.99. Perfect. Do we want the accomplishment together? Come on, y'all. Almost there. Up the steps. Don't stop early. Woo! 20-minute, 53-minute mile pace.
Total distance 1 mile.
That's awesome.
Total time 20 minutes and 55 seconds. Split pace 20 minutes 55 seconds per mile.
Nice. So if you did a half marathon at a 20-minute mile pace, 13.6 miles, 10 times 20, that's 10 times 20 is going to be 200. Ah! Oh my gosh, crows. It'd take a while if you did it at that pace. I'll calculate it later, but you're gonna do the best you can. So anyway, friends, keep changing the world. Enjoy your workout. Tomorrow you have Moose Stretch A and then some kind of lift. I think it's block A1. So see you around.